Hi, my name is Jenny Irwin and I'm a Student Recruitment Officer for the University of Toronto. I'm based particularly, however, at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. And my goal today was to give a bit of a presentation about the University of Toronto Scarborough campus's supplementary application form. So I'm always happy to come to CIC because I always get a really great group of enthusiastic, interested, great students. We love to get your applications, we love to talk to you, we love to have you come visit us, and I'm so happy to be here today. You are a great group of students. Thank you.
My name is Jenny Irwin and I am a Student Recruitment Officer for the University of Toronto. But today I am particularly representing the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. And my goal is to give you a bit of an introduction to UTSC's Supplementary Application Form, or SAF as we call it for short. The Supplementary Application Form gives applicants to specific programs the opportunity to tell us a little bit more about themselves apart from their academic marks. It is a profile form that asks you some simple questions that require short answers. And those questions tend to be about your extracurricular activities, any awards that you may have won for academics, any work experience or volunteer experience that you may have. Basically information that gives us a little bit more of a complete picture about who you are and whether or not the program that you apply to is going to be a good fit for you. Your answer to the questions on the supplementary application form are going to be used in our admissions assessment in addition to your academic marks. Academic marks are first and foremost. They are the most important for us. However, your responses on your supplementary application form will sway us in certain circumstances when perhaps your grades are not quite competitive enough for the program that you applied to. So the SAF can help you, it could also hurt you, however. We require the SAF for programs that are looking for applicants who have certain qualities or experiences or different sets of skills that are going to help them be successful within that program. We only require a supplementary application form from applicants who apply to the programs that you see listed there. All management programs at UTSC, including non-co-op management, and co-op management and international business. We also require a SAF for anyone who applied to co-op international development studies, or journalism, or paramedicine. If you did not apply to one of these programs, you are not required to submit a supplementary application form. I know that this may be a little bit confusing for some of you. In the past, we did require SAFs for everyone who applied to any co-op program at UTSC. This is no longer the case. We only require the SAF for those programs listed there. So if you are indeed required to submit a supplementary application form, please try to do so within 3 weeks of applying to UTSC, or by January 30th of this year, to be considered in our earlier rounds of admission. It is critical that you submit the supplementary application form if you want to be considered for your program of choice. If you do not submit your SAF and you are required to do so, we unfortunately will be unable to consider you for your chosen program, but we will consider you for an alternate offer of admission to a different program area. So again, if you are required to submit a SAF, where do you find it? So you're going to access your supplementary application form through the Join U of T portal. And the login instructions for the Join U of T portal were provided to you in your original University of Toronto acknowledgement email. So go back to check for that for those login details. Once you log in to the Join portal, this is what it looks like. So at the top, you'll see a list of the different programs you applied to at the University of Toronto. And directly next to it on the right, you'll see a light blue button that says Check Status. If you click the Check Status button, you're going to go to Application Status Check. And this is essentially a window into your application and how it is in the processing phases at U of T, and what else might be required from you to submit your application. So within Application Status Check, there is a document section, and some of you may be required to submit additional documentation to complete your application. If you are required to do a SAF, that is where you're going to find it, in that document section. There will be a link within Documents. Click on that link to get to the SAF, and it will take you to the SAF home page that has instructions for completing the SAF. Please, please read those instructions very carefully. And once you are fully sure that you understand how to proceed, you can then take a look at the links on the top left, right up there, where you see personal information, award information, etc. Those are the different sections of the SAF that you need to fill out. You do not need to complete them in any particular order. You could do one before another, nor do you need to complete them all at the same time. You don't have to do the entire SAF in one sitting. You can log out of the SAF and then come back to it later if you want to. You do, however, if you plan to do that, need to complete the page that you are working on. And at the bottom of each page, there is an update section button. If you do not click that button and then you navigate away from the page, you will lose all of the work that you just did. And I learned that the hard way because I filled out the SAF just so that I could see what it was like. I didn't submit and I lost everything. So be sure to hit update section if you are done with a page and you want to move on. So let me show you what some of these pages look like, the different sections of the SAF. So what you're looking at right now is the second section, awards information and also grade information, where you can self-report the different courses that you're taking in grade 12 and either your final or expected marks for those sections. So we're looking for some short answers in those boxes. This is the program interest section, some of the questions that are asked there. And this is the volunteer experience section. So you notice it's a little bit different in terms of the format. You have some drop-down menus that you'll have to do and some other boxes to fill out there as well. It's pretty basic, guys. It's fairly simple, fairly logical to fill out. The questions that you're looking at are specific to the management, regular management BBA SAF. So this is for all of those students who applied to the non-co-op management program. The questions for the SAF will differ from program to program because we're looking for different information for each of those supplementary application forms. As I mentioned, we're looking for students who have particular skills, particular interests and abilities for specific programs they applied to. For example, so for anyone who applied to Management and International Business or Co-op International Development Studies, both of which are programs that require that students have some international experience while they're completing their degree, we are looking for high school students who have international interests, perhaps some previous international experience of their own. Maybe you speak second languages. Maybe you joined, I don't know, the Amnesty International Club at school. You have interest in international issues. That's the kind of information that we're looking for to help us see that you would be a good fit for either of these programs. For you management applicants out there, we are looking for leadership skills, leadership experience and abilities, and you can demonstrate that to us through the questions on the SAF. So what you're seeing there, and I don't know if it's a bit blurry, but the answers that you see in those sections are examples of satisfactory answers for the supplementary application form, the kind of answer that we are looking for. So maybe just read the top one and kind of get a sense. We are looking for complete sentences. We're looking for good grammar, good spelling. We want your best work. These, on the other hand, are examples of answers that are really unsatisfactory for those same questions. Notice the misspellings, some of the grammatical errors. These answers don't really answer the questions. We want you to really satisfactorily answer the questions and well-written and also very thoughtful responses. So once you have submitted the supplementary application form, you're satisfied that it's done, you've proofread it, you know it's your best effort, you will receive a confirmation page saying that you have successfully completed your SAF. Approximately 5 days after that, go to application status check again, and within the document section in status check, you should see that the SAF requirement has been checked off with a little green arrow in application status check. And that's how you know that we have received it. So if you have any technical difficulties with the SAF, there are a few things that you can do to remedy that. If you are not seeing a SAF link in your application status check, first of all, think, well, did I apply to a program that requires a SAF? If you did and you're still not seeing the link, think about when you applied. So if you applied a day or two before or even the same day, you won't see the link yet. It takes us several days to be able to set up the SAF login for you. So if you don't see it yet, you know you need the SAF though. Wait a couple days and then check again. And if maybe 10 days have elapsed and you still don't see it and you know that you need the SAF, you can call the Office of Admissions and Student Recruitment at UTSC and we will help you figure that out. If you're having trouble loading pages of the SAF, we recommend that you try using a different browser, logging in through a different browser. We find that Firefox tends to work very well for most students. And if you're having any issues with your join ID and password, so the information that was provided in your acknowledgement email, there is a specific email address that you can write to, send a description of the problem, and if you have any screenshots of any error messages that are coming up, attach those as well. And we will look into that for you. And if your problems fall into none of those categories, please do call the Office of Admissions and Student Recruitment at UTSC. That information can be found on the UTSC website in the admissions section, or your counselors can put you in touch with me directly, and I would be very happy to help you. So do you have any questions? So this is a very good question. So she's talking about the volunteer experience section of the SAF. And she said that because she hasn't spent a full year volunteering at specific activities, maybe a few months here and there, correct? Because we're asking for the number of years that you have in a specific volunteer position, maybe just put 1, and then in the explanation section where you can talk a little bit more about the types of responsibilities and what you did at that volunteer activity, go ahead and write in there that you spent 5 months doing such and such. One thing that we're looking for, guys, with the work experience and the volunteer experience is quality versus quantity. I don't want to see that you have 5 million hours working that you have 5 million volunteer experiences, but you only spend maybe an hour at each of them. I want to see that you spent some significant time and you made an impact at a specific organization. You need to demonstrate through that description section that you learned something from your time there and that you also contributed to that organization itself. So even if you spent maybe just 2 hours tutoring underprivileged kids in your neighborhood, but you can demonstrate to me that that was a really significant experience, you had a good impact on those kids, it was a learning experience for you, that's fine with me. So the question was, in the program interest section, the very first question asks you to talk about your favorite subject. Does that subject refer to your program your program of major interest in university, or does it refer to what you like to study now? We want to hear about what you like to study now. What is your favorite course in high school? There are special language or communication requirements for students who apply to journalism. The answer to that is no in terms of English proficiency exams. As long as you meet the U of T specified requirement, that's fine. We are, however, looking for strong marks in English. However, if you are required to present English facility, we do not require that we use ENG4U in your admissions average. We'll look at you in other ways. Your SAF is going to be very important. So we're going to use your SAF, and then any marks that we can see from your English courses or any other humanities courses or social sciences courses that you're taking now, and use those in our assessment. But the SAF becomes even more important for you. You're welcome. The question was, what is the deadline for submitting English facility results, such as the IELTS test or TOEFL? The deadline for submitting documents of that nature is April 1st. April 1st. So take the test before that date. We need to receive your scores before then. All right. There are no other questions. Thank you very much for attending this afternoon, everyone.